Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy the Fett with some winter sports breakdown. I'm here to talk about my trifecta in the winter, my Ravens out of the playoffs. Now I can focus on hockey and pro in college basketball. So the first thing I want to get into is hockey by itself. It's the shortest thing for me. Basically, the Penguins not looking bad on the eastern side of the conference. The Metropolitan, they're third place right now. They're trailing the Washington Capitals and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So they're in third place. They're sitting at about 25, 14, and 6. They got about 56 points on the year. Um, I really don't have a lot of comments on it. It's too early in the year for me hockey wise. I really don't get hardcore into it and tune in, I must say, until about this time, once football and everything has died down. Um, I will say I am happy to see um, that they changed up the last 10 games. They went 8-2. Before that, they were struggling. They were splitting some games. They had a couple losing streaks in there. Um, and I was getting worried because of injuries. I know Horquist, day to day, I use a lot of pens on my fantasy teams, obviously. Side note, don't play homers in fantasy because it'll wreck you come playoff time. But I do it anyways, so maybe you don't want to listen to me. I contradict myself. Anyways, the Pens right now 13, 8-2 at home, 12, 6-4 on the road. They're 1-2 in shootouts. In their last 10, they're 8-2, and they've lost the last one as they lost to the Kings the other night, 5-2. Not a lot to say on this team. I'm still waiting for the general management to pull a big trade. They always seem to do it right before or after the All-Star break. Um, and I think they could use some more defensive men. I think that's their weakness. Goaltending, Murray's come back. He's come on strong, and he looks healthy. I hope they keep playing that way. Sidney Crosby, what can you say about the dude? The dude is an absolute monster, despite the whole league constantly hating on him and him getting older. So Penguins are looking good. I want to give out to the shout out to the Flyers, keeping it in the basement in the division. You guys keep doing what you do best, and that is suck. Okay, all you Flyers fans out there living in your back-to-back Stanley Cup glory of the '70s, that I know you are because my father is one of those guys. You guys are terrible. It makes me happy as a Pens fan to see you guys at the bottom of the division. I don't think there'd be any chance of a revival. But then again, I think the Flyers need to strip down and rebuild too. So, switching gears a little bit, like I said, in hockey, Penguins finally looking halfway decent. They heated up the goaltending. We got Murray healthy. Made a couple trades, minor players here and there, just moving around. Nothing too serious. But I think the Pens will be involved in a big draft day trade. With who? I don't know. But I would imagine it's from the Western Conference. I don't think anybody wants to exchange anyone in the East. Okay, switching gears now. We're going to go to some Maryland hoops because I feel like talking about some college hoops. Um, Not really anything to report here from my Maryland Terps other than what they do best, and that is dominate early in the season. They had a nice little non-conference run where they only lost a couple games. Unfortunately, one of those was to a good Seton Hall team, which I'm sure the committee for March Madness is going to look at. And these are things. This is how I look at each season. I have to look at it from I want my team in the big dance every year. I know that's not possible. I know we're not a mainstream basketball school like a Kentucky or a Duke where it's expected, where it's unheard of to go to the NIT. It's either the big bracket or nothing. So they did beat two ranked teams previously. They beat a I think it was 23rd Nebraska at the beginning of last week. I think it was Sunday night. Beat them. Nebraska falls out of the polls, and then Indiana replaces them. I think they were 22nd. So the Terps take down both. They get a W for their last two, and that was who they played. So basically, at this point, we're looking at them at 14-3 and 5-1 in the Big Ten. We are in third place. We are still chasing. But the rest of January is a big month for us. We're 11-2 at home. We're 3-1 on the road. Okay, the rest of January still includes we play at home against Wisconsin before we have a rough little road stretch where we go to Ohio State, Michigan State, and Illinois. That is going to be very difficult for our young team. Um, Coach T's got them playing well. Man, you want to talk about a beast on the block. My boy, Big Nando is what I call him. He is just killing it. I mean, double double. I'm happy for him because his draft stock's boosting up. He's looking great. But like I said, these next three games are going to be a huge test between Wisconsin, Ohio State, Michigan State, especially the two on the road, Michigan State and Ohio State. I don't think we're going to walk into Ohio State or Michigan State and win. I think we beat Wisconsin. We end the month with Northwestern at home. I think we can beat them. I think if Maryland, out of these next 5 games, could find a way to win, go 3-2, because I think Illinois will be toss up depending on how the Ohio State and Michigan State games go. Um, I think we have a good chance to punch a ticket to the bracket. But let me say this again, our non-conference schedule was weaker. We have a couple ugly losses on there. Like I said, we lost to Seton Hall. We've already lost in conference once. So we have some things going against for us. But like I said, let's play out the rest of January. I'll give you guys my scoop on what we need to do for February on my next Hoop show. Going to give that to you after the Michigan State game. I want the Michigan State game to get played before I rush to any more judgments on this team, as we are very young. And Coach T's doing what he does best. He's got us locked up on recruits for next year. I'm feeling very confident about this Maryland Terps team. All right, moving on to pro basketball, where the Cavaliers, oh my goodness, they had an 11-game losing streak, people. 11 games. We went from winning the Eastern Conference, 3-4 years in a row, being dominant, okay? And now here we are struggling to beat the Hawks, but not last night. No, no, no. To me, the most hated team in the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers, without LeBron, lost to the shit team. Yes, I said shit team. We are terrible. We have a bunch of bums on this team, and they're not bums. All right, don't take me wrong when I'm saying bums. I'm not talking about these dudes are just fresh off the street. No, what I'm talking about is an NBA talent level wise, these guys would be bench players almost everywhere else. Tristan Thompson, the only we have 2 bright spots, maybe 3. Okay, in Colin Sexton and Chetty Osman. Those are my dudes on this team, and those are who I want the management to build this team around. That's who I want us to use. Basically, I don't see Kevin Love sticking with us for his whole contract, all right? Gave the dude a nice fat, what was it, $4 million? Or a 4-year deal, sorry, not $4 million. Jeez. We paid him almost 120 mil over 4 years. So the dude's making nice cash, all right? And we've seen him in 6 games this year before toe surgery. Come on, Kevin Love, really? We're going to give you that fat contract and then your toe's going to get hurt 6 games into the year, really? Sorry, at this point, I'm bailing on Kevin Love, people. Get him off the roster. Send him somewhere that needs someone as an impact, all right? There are plenty of teams. San Antonio, Pop would love to have Kevin Love, okay? Hey, and guess what? I would love to have Pop's draft picks for the next 2 years. That's all I want. Give me 2 first-rounders for the next 2 years. Sure, the Spurs are going to finish top 4 in the West and probably top 4 overall in the NBA. Probably top 5. Let me say that. There's one Eastern team that's going to spike up. But basically at this time and point, I am all about getting Kevin Love's money off of the cap situation for the next 4 years. We got to get rid of some of the trash. I love some of the vets on the team, Channing Frye, J.R. Smith, some of these other guys' contracts we have, we just got to let them go. We got to get them off. I would talk to Tristan Thompson and I would seriously try to get him to renegotiate his contract so that we could save some money. We got a bunch of salary dumps on here. Of course, we're taking on Delhi's contract from the Bucks. It's just an ugly cap situation no matter how you look at it. So I've been preaching fail for Zion, but after talking with my colleague, Darth Stan the man, I basically have a new thought process on the draft, and that is fail to draft any of the Duke players. Fail this year. Just lose, take the L's. It's going to be okay. All right? I promise. Because if you get any one of these Duke kids, man, they're going to be good. They're going to shoot. Right now, Duke is running people over. Had a scare against Florida State. Really close. Almost got upset again. They all, for whatever reason, Duke struggles when they go play Florida State on the road. I don't get it because Florida State sucks as a basketball school. Of course, I hear all the old heads on there. Like, oh, Charlie Ward back in the 90s. Well, it's 2019. Duke has been dominant for almost 4 or 5 decades of okay, not 4 or 5 decades. It feels like Coach K's been there 4 or 5 decades. Like, does anyone remember? Can anyone tell me what a Duke looked like without Coach K? I can't. But anyways, we need to get one of those guys. I personally want Zion. All right, I think he's the best player there. But to get him, we got to win the lottery and we got to lose a lot more games, which we're going to. Don't let tonight's win go to everyone's head over the Lakers and think we're going to march ourselves back into the playoffs because that's not going to happen. I think this is our 9th win. We're on pace to win under 25 games. We're coming up on the All-Star break, almost halfway of the season. And I, for one, am ready to take on the salary dumps and acquire draft picks. The only problem is we're taking on so much cap space. We're still in the luxury tax, and Dan Gilbert is paying a lot of money for a really, really crappy basketball team. And no one is getting hurt more than Dan Gilbert's wallet, all right? Not to mention the fans, us, our team, the team that just dominated the East for 3 years now, struggling right back into the dark ages. Just like when MJ took the torch and poured water all over it, LeBron leaving has done the same effect, all right? There is no fire in this Cavs team torch. I like what I see out of Sexton and Chetty, but I got a sour taste in my mouth from Kevin Love now. So what I did here is my weekly wrap-up of my 3 winner teams. I'm going to try to get to you guys on a report at least once a week. What's going on with the Cavs, what's going on with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the mighty Maryland Terps, Hell in a Shell hoops. I'll also be having some other shows coming out this week talking about the Baltimore Orioles and all the fun stuff that has happened to them so far because they are starting to heat up, making moves, claiming people off waivers, getting new managers, and having a new GM. It is nice. But unfortunately, it's the same old story with the Orioles, ladies and gentlemen. They just don't spend money. So, this is the Fett, and I am signing off. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.